In last week's episode we arrived France. The weather got a little grayer and we headed 4 kilometers underground on our way towards Paris, so we escaped the rain for a while. And yes, in this episode we get there. But as always, the journey is the goal, and this part of the canals were truly beautiful, so I really want to show it. The canal now seems so peaceful. We barely met another barge as we continued south towards Noyon. And we had one more tunnel to go. This tunnel though is very much shorter than yesterday. It's about 1 kilometer and we can see the end of it, which feels very nice. It still did not feel quite natural to drive the boat into a mountain, but it was less intimidating this time. 1 kilometer with the sight of the end was nothing compared to the 4 times longer tunnel last time, and we soon were out again. Traveling on the canals is slow travel by its true meaning. We go by approximately 5 knots. But here you don't use knots, here speed is kilometers per hour, and all distance marks are in kilometers. 5 knots are about 10 kilometers per hour, and then you understand we are not fast. Occasional joggers on the side keep up with us, and the biker is way faster. But the slow pace makes it possible to collect so much impressions. When we pass a village or a town, we many times only see the surface, and sometimes, like this time, turning around the corner opens up something super cute. Like this little place that I think is called Pont-l'Evêque, a little south from Noyon. That is why we like to make many stops rather than to rush. Still 2.6. We ran aground a couple of times now, but... Oj, tror du bron är hög nog? Not all places seem possible in the chart, but we learned sometimes it's deeper and sometimes it's more shallow. Here it was supposed to be shallow, but we could see barges inside. It was supposed to be an automat somewhere for paying, and that is the first time we see this in France. I know some of you are curious about the costs, and here we paid €10 to tie up and have electricity, but no showers. I think this is the cutest place we've been to so far along the canals. We are in the intersection of Canal du Nord and Canal de Latéral, and we found this really tiny place, and in the sea chart it says like it's 1 meter deep, so we didn't think we could go in there, but we actually managed, and it's about 2.3 meters. So we got a spot. It was really a little bit hard to turn around on the boat inside there because of the mast. Despite the cuteness, this place was tiny and soon seen. But it was also close to Noyon, and we decided for a walk. We just realized we didn't have so much exercise the last days, and then we found this superb outdoor gym, but I've never seen this particular thing before. Is it exhausting?
I'm totally exhausted.
those places were adorable, and maybe we should have stayed a little longer. At least it was the first time we left with that feeling. Oh, there was only one of us. Me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Despite the weather still being grey, this is really how I picture the French canals, with tiny cute towns alongside. We passed those cute places, convinced we were going to find a good place to tie up with some facilities.
Today we ended up at the worst place we've ever been. We drove by this super cute little town next to the second last lock, and then we decided to continue because we knew it's going to come a place where we could tie up that seemed like they had facilities, because we really wanted to shower. And then we ended up like at the boat graveyard. But we're gonna leave early in the morning. No fancy boats here. And one of the boat has burned severely. We saw it from the outside and it just looked like it was sunken, but it's really been a disaster. Too bad. You can still feel the smell from it. It's I don't know how long time ago, but you can also see they have, or at least seem to have, the propane bottle inside of the boat, so could possibly be, but it's just like completely burned out. Didn't find a shower today, so it's time for our little emergency solar shower. It's working kind of good. We are making some luxury breakfast, doing some bake-off in the oven. It's always nice to have fresh bread, but we don't do it that often, so it gets a little bit like a weekend luxury.
Waiting at the next lock, we finally got to see how they loaded a car on a barge.
We are now in our last lock before we are going to Paris. How do you feel about heading to Paris?
Oh, it's going to be great. And the last lock, that's a milestone. we have come to Paris on our trip on the rivers and canals of Europe, and we are at the Louvre. So we'll walk down there. I don't think we're going to go inside. It's usually very long line to visit Mona Lisa, but at least we've seen it from the outside.
How do we like Paris so far?
We like Paris quite much. It's as any big city, it's noisy, crowdy, full of tourists as us. But otherwise it's fine.
Yeah, I kind of like it too. It's hard not to like it because it's so many great places, but also it's very touristic. Our last attraction left, we're going to see the Eiffel Tower, so we take the subway. It's starting to get a little bit late and we want to see it when it's dark, so I think it's going to be really beautiful.
I want to deeply thank my Patreons for supporting the making of these episodes, and if you want to contribute, you can also become a Patreon or buy me a coffee at the links below. If you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss out. And if you appreciated this episode, please give it a big thumbs up.